All right, let's get right into it because we are about to unpack a massive, highly classified mystery that is literally hidden right beneath our feet. Based on the data we're exploring in this explainer, we really need to radically reframe how we look at the geographic map of our entire world. We're talking about the very real possibility that our planet isn't just a collection of random continents and oceans. It's actually a hijacked electrical circuit board. Think about this impossible geographic coincidence for a second. Why on earth are ancient megalithic pyramids and modern top-secret military black sites built on the exact same global intersections? The reality presented by the data reads straight out of a geopolitical thriller. It suggests the Earth itself is essentially a giant battery, and the modern military is actively plugging right into those ancient outlets. To understand how this works, it all comes down to geophysics, specifically a phenomenon known as telluric currents. These are completely natural, extremely low-frequency electrical currents that are constantly moving, naturally, through the Earth's crust and oceans. The planet naturally generates and circulates this low-frequency electricity, which effectively makes the Earth itself a massive, humming electrical generator. Now, the ancient architects, often referred to in the lore as the guardian builders, they understood this physics perfectly. They went ahead and mapped this entire planetary grid. They located the natural intersections of these telluric currents, which, by the way, are often called ley lines in traditional folklore. By building directly on top of these intersecting nodes, they were able to plug directly into the Earth's massive energetic outlets to harness and amplify free terrestrial electromagnetism. They were basically mapping the nervous system of the Earth itself. The data suggests we need a total paradigm shift here. These incredible structures, like the Great Pyramid of Giza, they absolutely were not tombs. They were highly engineered solid-state chemical and electromagnetic capacitors, built from quartz-rich granite and positioned precisely on those intersecting telluric nodes. They operated as massive acoustic hydraulic power plants. They took the kinetic energy of rushing subterranean water, squeezed the quartz within the stone, and generated immense piezoelectric electricity. They were literally turning physical water pressure into raw power, creating a global wireless energy grid. It's incredibly similar to what the brilliant physicist Nikola Tesla tried to do thousands of years later. So why go through all that trouble? Well, the key lies in one highly specific frequency, 110 Hz. Modern archaeoacoustic research, including comprehensive EEG and MRI studies out of UCLA, proves that these ancient subterranean chambers were mathematically engineered to act as psychoacoustic oscillators. Exposing a human being to a standing wave tuned exactly to 110 Hz does something amazing. It mathematically suppresses the left temporal lobe, which is your survival brain, and hyperactivates the prefrontal cortex. It literally forces the human brain out of a state of baseline fear and elevates consciousness. But this brings us to a terrifying modern twist. See, the ancient builders didn't use brute physical force. They used elegant acoustic resonance, a concept NASA and JPL actually reverse-engineered later under U.S. Patent 6024534A. They used high frequencies to vibrate and safely shatter the atomic lattice of stone. But the modern military, they take a totally different approach. They literally melt their way in. Using nuclear subterranes, which are mathematically detailed in U.S. Patent 3693731A, they deploy these compact nuclear reactors to heat tungsten penetrators. They turn solid bedrock into liquid magma just to forge these indestructible glass-lined tunnels. And make no mistake, the intelligence community knows exactly what these ancient sites actually are. Let's look at a fascinating declassified CIA document from 1984. The Stargate program tasked their premier remote viewer, Joseph McMoneagle, to observe completely blind coordinates. The target was actually on Mars, a million years in the past. Perfectly blind to the target, McMoneagle describes this impossible structure. He says it's strictly a really large, looks like a generator of some kind. It has intersecting water channels. He perfectly corroborated the exact acoustic hydraulic power plant mechanics we see right beneath the Giza Plateau today. They know these are solid-state generators. So here is the alleged playbook for how the terrestrial grid was hijacked in a highly classified three-step process. First, you map the unexcavated telluric nodes from orbit using space-based synthetic aperture radar, stuff that can see right through desert sand. Second, you deploy those thermodynamic nuclear subterranes to melt your way down to the source. And third, you construct deep underground military bases, often called DUMs, directly on top of those ancient intersections. They've effectively locked down the ancient architecture, completely replacing that consciousness-elevating grid with their own subterranean military network. Now, how do you seamlessly synchronize telemetry across a vast underground empire like that? How do you connect a command node beneath Mount Hayes in Alaska to matching bases in Spain, Zimbabwe, or Australia? You rely on extremely low frequency, or ELF, waves. While standard military radar just bounces off the Earth's surface, ELF waves operate between 3 and 30 hertz. This incredibly low frequency allows those waves to effortlessly penetrate thousands of miles of solid granitic bedrock. But here's the catch. They aren't just communicating down there. The data suggests they are actively weaponizing the grid. All the evidence points directly to the HARP installation in Alaska. As detailed in U.S. Patent 4686605A, this massive installation acts as a terrestrial antenna array. It pumps gigawatts of radio frequency power straight into the ionosphere, boiling it into a giant plasma mirror. And that mirror allows the military to bounce massive weaponized ELF waves straight down, deep into the Earth's crust, hitting those exact planetary nodes. So instead of pulling free energy out for the benefit of humanity, they're doing the exact opposite. They are pumping suppression frequencies in, creating what's often referred to as a biodigital frequency fence. By continuously bathing the planet in these artificial ELF waves, they can actually override the Earth's natural Schumann resonance. The theory is that they're pumping these archonic suppression frequencies into the Earth to maintain a psychological prison reality. It's designed to keep the human population trapped in a low-frequency baseline of fear, anger, and constant anxiety. When you look at all this data together, the ultimate conclusion is absolutely chilling. The planet itself has been turned into a giant mind control weapon. By weaponizing the Earth's own telluric currents, the ancient schematic, that beautiful 110 Hz global grid, originally designed for human enlightenment and consciousness elevation, has been completely inverted into a global biodigital suppression field. Which leaves us with one massive, staggering question. If the geographic map of our world is actually just a massive electrical circuit, what exactly will it take for humanity to finally unplug the machine? If the very ground beneath your feet is being used to broadcast a localized frequency quarantine against you, how do we hack the grid and take our consciousness back? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the world around you, and I'll catch you next time.